Hi there, my name is Salman Shahi and I'm a composer based in Toronto, Canada. This video is part of a series introducing listeners to the world of classical music in the 20th and 21st century, and helping music enthusiasts better understand major creative practices, aesthetic, and styles. So if you have a curious ear and want to learn more about new music, you've definitely come to the right place. We will be discussing serialism in this episode. And without further ado, let's jump right in. Much like any other artistic movement, serialism came from an external need. Although serialism went on a variety of different branches, it all started with the Austrian composer Arnold Schoenberg. While Schoenberg's early works are still immersed in the lushness and romanticism of the 19th century music, he saw the need for an entirely new syntax in music. Mind you that late Romantic composers, such as Wagner and Ravel, had already taken tonality to its absolute limits with the use of chromaticism. And composers such as Bartók and Debussy had already begun using those very harmonic tools in ways different than their conventional ways used in the 18th and 19th century. What Schoenberg gradually invented was what we today call the 12-tone technique. In a nutshell, the 12-tone technique allowed the composer to use all 12 chromatic notes before repeating any of them, and by doing so erasing any form of emphasis on a single pitch as the tonal center, hence the term atonal music. Composers in this style oftentimes use what we call a row. A row is a sequence of 12 chromatic notes that's put into a chart that we call matrix. The row makes out all possible variants of the row from the 12 chromatic notes. It also allows for the inversions of the row, which means the upside down intervals, the retrogrades of the row, which means the mirror image of the row, and also the retrograde inversions. Composers then use these matrices to compose and try to find interesting patterns, connections, and features in each of them in order to weave their music together using them. Composers such as Schoenberg, Nono, Webern, and Berg heavily utilize this system in their writing. Here's Anton Webern's first movement from 5 Pieces for Orchestra. Later on, composers such as Babbitt, Stockhausen, and Boulez took serialism to a whole new level. This is where serialism became the major force in the contemporary music scene in Europe. Serialism was a way for composers to allow mathematical procedures to not only dictate pitch content of the piece, but also other elements of the music, such as rhythm, range, or dynamics. In its most extreme form, integral or total serialism determined all aspects of the music using the matrices we just mentioned. Here's an example from Pierre Boulez's Structures, which uses total serialism to determine all parameters of the music. He describes this piece as one where the responsibility of the composer is practically absent. Now here comes the main question. How do we listen to this music? Serialist music, especially in its later, more extreme forms, is by definition dissonant. That means it avoids traditional idioms such as an expressive or memorable melodic line or a continuous rhythmic pattern. What often helps me have a better experience listening to serialist music is to simply allow my ears to follow the thread of the music with no expectations. The large angular loops, the apparent lack of meter or pulse, and the sudden changes in timbre and speed and dynamics are all things that the ear can actively follow, as though we are at the mercy of the music and is taking us to a sonic landscape that we've never been to before. Another aspect of listening to serialist music is to simply hear the mathematics play out in the piece. This means allowing the brain, on a very basic level, to absorb the mathematical movements that are built into the music. This can be a very intellectually stimulating experience where the ear can almost observe all the intricacy, geometry, and the subtleties that's built into the music. I think as a listener, it's a very good idea to divorce ourselves from what we usually enjoy and from time to time try to explore different sound worlds that will not only enhance the sensitivity of our ears to what we already enjoy, but we might even discover new musical worlds that we didn't know existed. Here are 4 pieces to check out if you want to get more into the world of serialism. I will include the links to all of these pieces in the description below. Arnold Schoenberg, Variations for Orchestra Opus 31. Alban Berg, Violin Concerto. Luigi Nono, Il Canto Sospeso. Pierre Boulez, La Marteau Sainte. That's it for this episode. Feel free to drop me a line in the comment section if you have any thoughts on this video or have any ideas for future ones. Also, feel free to hit like and subscribe if you want to be notified of my future uploads. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you next time.